25 years.
Welcome to ABC4 News at 10. I'm Glenn Mills.
And I'm Emily Flores. We thank you for joining us here tonight. We are focusing on the plan to build a gondola in Little Cottonwood Canyon.
Both support and opposition coming in after UDOT announces it will proceed with the gondola proposal to handle traffic in the canyon, one of Salt Lake County's most popular recreation areas. Phase 1 includes an increased and improved bus system with resort bus stops, a mobility hub, and tolling.
Phase 2 would widen Wasatch Boulevard, construct snow sheds, and improve trailhead parking. And then Phase 3 would include the actual construction of the gondola.
There's a lot of folks in and around this area that are pretty active in the community on voicing, their concerns. And, structurally having it run up basically over this neighborhood is not something the community is super fond of.
We had new alternatives. We evaluated alternatives more thoroughly because of all those comments. So I think all of the time that people spent really led to us having the best information and making this decision.
Okay, so the latest estimate from UDOT for the total cost of all phases is around $729 million. Opponents have brought up taxpayer concerns, environmental impacts, and limited benefits to the public.
So to put this into perspective on what this means to Utahns, we have Salt Lake County Mayor Jenny Wilson and Utah State Representative Jeff Stenquist joining us live in studio here tonight. First off, we thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to have both of you. This has been a long time coming, something we've been following for quite a bit. Representative, let's start with you. You've been an advocate for the gondola project. Talk about your initial thoughts when you heard the announcement from UDOT this morning.
Well, I was really excited about the idea of having a gondola up Little Cottonwood Canyon. More and more people are getting out and recreating in our canyons and across our state. And the traffic situation has really become really unsustainable in Little Cottonwood Canyon. Traffic is backed up prior to the canyon being opened, and there's limited parking. And there's also a significant safety issue with so many avalanches. It's a very avalanche-prone road, probably one of the most avalanche-prone roads in the world. And so there are safety issues, there are congestion issues. So the idea of having a gondola and the idea of having a way to get people up to the canyons without relying on the road, without relying on automobiles that are going to have pollution and emissions, really, I think, is an innovative solution that I think will be very well accepted once it's built.
Tell us, Mayor, then your thoughts on this all as soon as you heard UDOT giving the project a green light.
Well, I've spent thousands of hours studying this issue, engaging with the public, and I have a very, very strong opposition to this project. I'm happy to see the phased approach and the fact that the legislature has funded, so thank you for that, $150 million to start with busing. I'm excited that we can move with busing. Let's get on those buses in a year or two when they're running, and let's prove that we do not need a gondola. I have concerns over the environmental impact. I have concerns that it will not help operationally. It's an 8-mile canyon and we're only going to have 2 stops. What about all the people that want to recreate, to hike, to ski, backcountry ski? They won't be able to do it. They'll be able to get in their car and do what they're doing. So a lot of the proponents saying that the road will no longer be an issue, it's just flat out incorrect. The road will continue to run. We'll have an 8-mile gondola. 262-foot towers, larger than the downtown Salt Lake City LDS Temple. That to me is alarming. It's going to mar our canyon, and it's a very bad idea.
Representative, we've heard the mayor talk about today that this is not a done deal just yet, that we could get through phases 1 and 2 and then decide, hey, we do not need this gondola. How do you see that playing out?
Well, UDOT's decision and their very thorough study that they've done over many years and all the public comment that they've received really came to the conclusion that the least impactful solution for the canyon is the gondola. There's no perfect solution. Widening the road, expanding traffic access, those kind of things would have as much or more negative impacts to the environment and cost as a gondola would. So now the next step really is coming up with the funding and really understanding how and when we're going to be able to fund it and get the construction going. A lot of people will say that it's all going to be put on the taxpayers' back, but that's not really the case. If we were widening the road, I think that that would happen, but I really think that there will be opportunities to look at different sources of funding, including private and public partnerships.
And Mayor, same to you as Glenn mentioned, you've been saying that this is not a done deal yet. What's your plan moving forward since this is going through phases and at the end, maybe there's the potential it could get nixed?
Well, I think it's up to us to prove that the busing system can work. And you'll see in the plan this phased approach. I'm also advocating some additional steps, which I call common sense solutions, that go beyond some of the projects that are defined in phase 1. Let's embrace technology. Let's get real-time information so we can make a good personal choice about going up the canyon. I'd like to see some price structuring to work with the resorts. The resorts need to succeed, and I want them to succeed. So let's work with them. Let's avoid that gondola, but let's see if we can do some creative price structuring. We need to do better at traffic management. You know, our community has been chasing a big shiny object for decades, a train, a bus. Common sense solution. Let's get those buses up and running. I've heard from UDOT directly. They're committed to that. Let's get on those buses. Let's get them up and running. Let's get some electric buses that are efficient, that work. Let's build parking hubs. Let's spread those parking hubs throughout the county so we don't see that congestion all in one place and put that burden on the residents in Cottonwood Heights. Also, I really do oppose the idea of this mega parking garage right at the base of the canyon. The gondola with its 23 towers, some as high as 262 feet. That's bad enough, but 2,500 parking stalls right at the base of the canyon, no wonder the neighbors are upset.
Talk about that a little bit more, Representative. Some people would say that's an eyesore, you know, having that tower there and the gondola moving up the mountain. From an environmental standpoint, why do you say that this is still the best way to go?
Well, if there was an easy or cheap solution, then we would certainly do that. But the gondola would have some visual impact, but I think that you see that with ski resorts and trams and lifts already in the mountains, and it really blends in. So I think that's probably one of the primary concerns is the visual impact. But all of the other solutions that UDOT considered, whether it's busing or other options, would require reliance on that road. And the Little Cottonwood Canyon has 56 avalanche paths that cross that road. It was closed for multiple days over this last winter as we saw so much snow up there. So it's really a safety issue. Any solution that relies on the road really, I think, isn't going to get it done. So I'm absolutely in favor of trying more buses and some of these other solutions in the meantime, but eventually I think the gondola will be needed.
All right, Mayor, as we're wrapping up the interviews tonight, tell us just your response to what the representative was just talking about. Well,
I've been told that the road will be closed, or the gondola would not be operational during avalanches being shot down prior, which you see most mornings where we have big snowstorms. So the backed up traffic is often with people waiting in line, and there are limitations to when a gondola can run. So it won't run 24/7. Again, only 2 stops, 8 miles. It would be the longest gondola in the world. That seems risky to me. And I'm concerned about traffic just being pushed back, especially because the road will continue to run. There'll be a toll, certainly, but we're going to be adding more with that path, that additional mode, all the while the road is running. That's concerning to me. We're going to put more and more people into the mountains. These mountains are precious. I grew up skiing, hiking, loving them, as did so many families that I talked to. And the next generation is concerned. Students for the Wasatch have stepped up, these young, bright minds saying, we care about our future. We care about our generations ahead. Let's preserve the most beautiful canyon. I believe it's the most beautiful in the state. There are other precious places. This is important to our economy. It's important to who we are as Utahns.
All right, quite a lively debate. So many things to consider as we move forward. There's one thing we all agree on, and that is something needs to be done to alleviate traffic in that canyon. No doubt about it. You mentioned growing up here. It's kind of jaw-dropping to see the way it is now compared to, say, 20 years ago.
Yes.
Really appreciate both of you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Switching gears now, let's head on over for a first look at the forecast tonight.